Well, you're seeing some politicians use the coronavirus tragedy to enable voter fraud and trample on freedom of expression, speech, and conscience. But they're also advancing their bizarre agenda on law and order, one designed to degrade society. In Los Angeles County, the sheriff released thousands of prisoners ahead of coronavirus. Now he's admitting that residents should brace for a wave of crime.
We were faced with a choice. If we left the jail system fully populated and overpopulated, then the pandemic is a lot easier to sweep through the jail system and jeopardize everyone's safety. What's going to happen is that some of them are not going to go back to court. They're going to end up being, they're going to go to warrant, so to speak, failure to appear. People that are not in jail are losing their jobs, so much less those that didn't have a job to begin with, they're out on the streets. So we're adding to the mix. It's something, it's uncharted territory.
Hear that? Some of them may not go back to court. Yeah. Bill Melugin is an investigative reporter with Fox LA. We're happy to have him join us tonight. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Tucker, good evening. So what I can tell you is when this decision came down, it raised a heck of a lot of eyebrows here in LA County. What the sheriff decided to do is he released 25% of the entire inmate population here in LA County, and that equates to about 4,300 inmates. Yes, that is a heck of a lot of inmates. The reason why, LA County has the biggest jail system in the entire country. Going into this pandemic, we would have about 17,000 inmates in county jail on any given day. And the sheriff took a lot of heat, a lot of criticism from the public when he made this decision, because at the same time, he had also tried closing down all of our local gun stores. He had listed them as non-essential businesses. So you could imagine the public hearing that there are thousands of inmates now on the street also being deprived of their ability to buy a gun. They weren't too thrilled with that. Now, the sheriff's rationale is he says, look, before this was ever a pandemic, in late February, he made this decision. He started releasing inmates in groups of 500 at a time. That's because he said it's just so overcrowded in the jail system. He wanted to get ahead of this, be ahead of the curve. If one inmate were to get, a positive test, it would potentially spread to not only the other inmates, but to his sheriff's deputies as well. He has over 200 deputies in quarantine right now. They're severely understaffed at the jail. So he says it's a good thing that he was able to get more than 4,000 inmates out of the jail. Now, he says he's only releasing nonviolent inmates, people with low-level misdemeanors, property crimes, traffic crimes, that sort of thing. The violent crimes, those are still locked up. He says there are still 1,200 people accused of murder in the jail right now. But he says overall, he knows this is going to be a controversial decision, but he thinks overall it's been working. Again, there were 17,000 inmates in county jail going into this. As of yesterday, when I talked to him, only 11 of them have tested positive so far. So he says, look, as he said in the interview, this is uncharted territory right here. He said he got pressure from the ACLU and other social activist groups 2 weeks after he made this decision. He started getting letters from those activist groups to release the inmates. Well, he did it, and he said if these inmates act up, if they don't show up for court, if they start committing crimes again, that's going to look bad for that social justice agenda, and those groups like the ACLU are going to have to rethink what they're doing. So LA County, the first to do this, but up in Washington, they're doing the same thing. There was a prison riot, a jail riot. The prisoners were upset about the virus in there. Governor Jay Inslee now saying he's going to release some of those inmates.
The ACLU have to rethink their position. That made me laugh. Bill Melugin, thanks for that great report. Good to see you tonight.